Well, it's May. It's May 6th, and it's early, but it's time to start doing garden videos again. Because stuff is happening. I've got things sprouting. There's doings afoot, as they say. This is the bed that I worked on creating last year, and I've got it planted out now. You can see right there with my weed digging fingers, those are little grass sprouts that came from the grass mulch. They won't have long roots yet, so I've got to pick those out as they come, because otherwise they'll take over. That's the one thing about using grass mulch, that kind of the drawback is that it's full of grass seeds. But down here we've got lovely garlic coming up from being planted last year, and then over here I've got some tomatoes established. So my idea is that this bed is still pretty hot. It was fresh manure last year, so this bed will run down, the water will run down from it and pool a lot of those nutrients down into the corners here. Hopefully not burn these plants. So I've got one there and another one over here by the hen bit here, which of course most folks would pull out as a weed, but I don't do that. I am trying to eliminate some of these sunchokes here, which is a fool's quest. They're gonna always be part of this garden, but there's one right there. I'll have that for breakfast maybe. But the other thing that's happening in this bed, which I think is gonna be very productive this year, is I've got some potatoes coming up. There's one and there's one here. These are the very first little bunches of leaves that come up from potatoes. I've got about, well, this is mainly a potato bed. So I've got about 30 or so starts in here, just in this bed alone. There's another one there coming up, and this here's that's a pole bean, which I'm just gonna let that grow. I might stick a pole in the ground later in the season to let it grow up. But over here I moved the kids' play structure over here. This is where I had all my peppers last year. None of them survived, I'm sad to say. Those glass jars did not allow peppers to overwinter. That's okay. They're not exactly winter plants. They're from the mountains in South America, so they like hotter, drier climates. But look what I do have. My sage overwintered here. That's sage, beautiful. Barely, the winter barely touched it. It's still fresh sprouts on the top there. And all of this plant, this is an incredible plant called cleavers. Really high in nutrition, delicate. You can eat it just as salads. It's just a delicate flavor to it, or you can make tea out of it, which is this lovely spring tea, tonic tea. So I'm getting a ton of that all of a sudden, which is great. Little catnip here established itself, which is nice, little friendly part of the mint family. And of course I've got a bunch more. These are onions, and garlic is in there as well. This is my main garlic plot here. Look at those guys. They started popping up probably a month and a half ago, started breaching the surface. So beautiful. I'll be getting scapes soon, growing out of the middle of these leaf structures. Otherwise in here, there's not much more going on. I've got some dandelions, which I probably won't harvest, but I don't know. They're not bothering anybody. I put another tomato start over here too. Reckon I can use these last year's corn stalks for a trellis, at least at first. And I felt like there was something happening over here too, but mostly I'm just trying to stop this mint from the neighboring bed from traveling over. Mint is a gardener's foe and friend. I love it. Look at this fresh mint. Look how beautiful that is. Oh my goodness. I might just make a mint and cleaver tea this morning to have with my sunchoke. Oh, so beautiful. I moved the jars over here for now. I don't really know the best way to store them. I guess cardboard boxes for the summer, because they sort of have sharp edges. But this is another sunchoke plot here. This is where I decided to let it kind of go feral. Not feral exactly, but I'm kind of doing the one straw revolution thing here, where I just lay down last year's stalks and flood it twice a year. I'm still throwing seeds back here once in a while. I threw a whole bunch of carrot seeds this year, so we'll see if any carrots come up. I really shouldn't be walking in here though. Oops. Not a lot of gardening rules, but one of them is don't walk on your garden. Don't compress that soil. Over here, this will be another bed we're establishing here. Right now it just looks like rubbish, but most of the manure I collect this year will go in this area. And then over here is more of a wildflower and wildish area. And then we've got this amazing thing happening. First of all, I erected this. I cut down some trees and erected this semi-permanent trellis thing, because we're always looking for things for our pole beans to climb up on. But look at this. This is an overwintered kale plant that's just so reinvigorated by the spring. Just gorgeous. There's another one over there. And we've got, here's a pole bean that's self-seeded. Some calendula coming up here and there. We've got, there's some tomatoes. This is a very productive garden. Now this garden has never been, this plot here has never been really added to or cultivated. It's just been planted. Here's some oregano from last year. Actually, this might be a 3-year-old oregano at this point. And what we do is we really let stuff grow except for the grass, like this right here. The grass, even though this kind of grass, the roots are actually starchy and edible. And so we could even just let that grow. But like here's a wild vetch, which is in the pea family. And we're gonna let that grow. That'll probably, here's a little start of it. That'll probably spread out all over this and make it look really hairy and messy, but it's beautiful. It's a nitrogen fixer plant. So it'll just contribute. It might choke out some of our more desirable plants temporarily, but it's all part of the dance of securing nutrients in your soil. And so this is an exciting time of year. Everything is full of potential and hope, which are really great things to have. So here's my dirty little hand of produce from this morning. And boy, I hope you're all having a great day. It's shaping up to be a good one. All right, peace everybody.